Looking at how cruel or dauntless association is killing people, they have definitely captured the teleportation array and are gathering there. The teleportation array will pass through the forest and lead to the foot of the mountain. At this moment, the young son of the sect leader also came running. Our junior sisters must run quickly. Mok Yom looked at him in surprise. Did you also hear that the Dauntless Association had rushed here? What is this all about? The young man angrily gritted his teeth and said, those bastards have already betrayed. They want to build a Dauntless Association in the world, not an evil sect. The families belong to the right sect and the evil sect all join forces with them. Moreover, the Dauntless Association has already appeared. Mok Yom was surprised. Duong Kwang Ky? Damn that doctor, it seems like it took him less than 10 years to reach the Yang Kwang Ky. Any family that has the support of the doctor of Yang Kwang Ky and doesn't listen to him will be destroyed by him. We don't know about that either, we only know that at first they wanted to increase the power of the evil sect. That's why we fought together against the righteous sect. But now they suddenly crossed the bridge and escaped. Right, those are really people who are asked by elephants. Woon Sowol's face is tense. That magician Duong Kwang Ky will probably come here too, right? The young man nodded sullenly, yes. My father and many elders were discussing with an elder of the Dauntless Association when they suddenly came out of nowhere. In just a moment everyone was gradually being killed by them and falling into chaos. I separated from my father and ran here like this. Woon Sowol's heart was tense to the limit. If even the Dr. Duong Kwang Ky had come here, then this place absolutely cannot stay anymore. I have to try my best to avoid getting involved in uncontrollable things. Fortunately, the 3 people here are all highly cultivated. With the 4 of us I can escape from this golden mountain. The old man ran ahead and loudly ordered, quickly get down the mountain and use the shape-shifting magic weapon to escape. A moment later, the group of people ran to the outside of the entrance. Meet Jia Lam. Woon Sowol looked at the scene in front of him and exclaimed nervously, it turns out this is a trap. The enemy has discovered us, it's not just 1 or 2 people. Woon Sowol, the thoughts in my head quickly turned. They were chasing very fast. I didn't know if I was alone, but if there were 4 people like this, they would probably catch up. There were 6 people chasing, Mok's sister. I don't know, but I'm afraid the master and Wu Changyi won't be of any help. I knew that when I was at the Mountain of 5 Gates, I should have run away alone. But Monk Mok Yom's sister. I've been with her for so long, so I already have feelings for her. Sister has enough spiritual power, but she doesn't have a proper magic weapon and hasn't finished learning all the techniques yet. Again, she absolutely cannot fight against the heroic warrior. He was lost and didn't know what to do, but suddenly he was startled. In front of them, there was suddenly a hurricane. Arrived. The old man was blown away by the wind from the flying sword and fell to the ground. Mok Yom saw this and his face immediately changed. She didn't say much directly from the flying sword. Woon Sowol jumped up. As he flew out, he used the bullets. He used 2 bullets with both hands and then simultaneously hit the opposite direction. Not far away, the enemy who had just attacked them saw this. Smiling coldly, he didn't pay any attention and let the magic bullet hit his protective light screen. But beyond his data, as soon as the bullet hit the light curtain above, a crack immediately appeared. He couldn't believe it when he looked at Mok Yom. I thought he was a talented warrior, but he turned out to be a master. That girl is very dangerous, let's go ahead and deal with her first. The 2 old gardeners and Wu Changyi saw this and immediately stood in front of Mok Yom. But the group of people in front did not pay attention to them. They directly mobilized their magic weapons and rushed towards Mok Yom. Mok Yom has no experience in actual combat and magic. He doesn't know how to dodge or block, he just knows who's standing there. While hanging by a hair, Woon Sowol appears in front of him. She helped her block everything. Wu Changyi from behind saw Woon Sowol so powerful and his mouth was open in horror. Junior brother is so strong. Woon Sowol took out a few of his cold magic weapons looking at the group of people opposite. When the middle-aged man saw this, he was even more surprised. He didn't expect that there were 2 people hiding their strength. It turned out that they were not a bunch of incompetent people. 6 people, we must kill them. 4 people fight the other 2, the remaining people fight the Thien Tai Ky guys, we deal with them at the same time. Wu Changyi was scared in his heart and had absolutely no fighting spirit. No matter how powerful junior sister Mok and junior Woon Sowol were, they still couldn't defeat those 6 guys. Even if I want to run away, but I can't run away. Woon Sowol stayed in front from beginning to end without talking nonsense, immediately activated the magic weapon to attack the middle-aged man in the lead. Seeing Woon Sowol actively attacking him, he once again summoned a protective light screen. But as soon as Woon Sowol's longsword hit his protective light screen, countless cracks immediately appeared above it. Then very quickly it immediately broke, seeing that Woon Sowol's long sword was about to hit him. At this moment, a young man next to him rushed to help him block it. Unexpectedly that guy was still there. It's much more dangerous than I thought. Let's quickly attack him. Woon Sowol's heart was filled with regret. Just a little more and I would have snatched his old life. The old man was at this guy is having an extremely hard time fending off his opponent's attack. He was extremely depressed in his heart. As a father, not only could he not protect his daughter, but moreover, he single-handedly blocked an enemy's attack and still could not finish it. While the two of them had to deal with 4 people, what the hell is this? Mok Yom in front also kept paying attention to his situation. Seeing him, she was about to not be able to hold on anymore. She was extremely worried. Dad did everything for me, but I couldn't help anyone. I'm truly a blameworthy child. Yes, at this moment, someone was hit by a sword and flew past her. Seeing with her own eyes her father was hit by a sword and flew back. Mok Yom immediately screamed in excitement, showing signs of losing control and spiritual power. The madness on her body erupted violently. Her consciousness gradually became blurred. The group of wizards surrounding and attacking them were immediately swept away by her spiritual energy. Very soon someone was killed by her spiritual energy. The young man next to him turned to look at his comrades in surprise. What is going on? But as soon as she turned around, her mother grabbed her arm and held her down tightly. She was now in a crazy state, her mind only wanting to kill those who had hurt her father. Old Veen, the owner below, tried to advise. It didn't work. I tried to hide it until now. Among the doctors present here, someone quickly recognized her. I am a celestial person. The rest of the crowd were surprised to hear that. What is a celestial person? Is she a celestial being? Woon Sowol is also surprised in my heart. Is it a heavenly person? Now I understand why she has so much spiritual energy, because she is a hybrid between a human and a spiritual beast. The internal Dan in her body also becomes unusual. Fuang Fai, if you have it, you will have a huge advantage. It is rumored that if a magician has the inner pill of heaven and man, he will be able to use it to enhance his strength. Or use it to nourish blood energy to be able to have a terrible source of spiritual energy. So this is the reason why sister secretly lives in the courtyard. Mok Yom finished killing the 2 most recent guys and did not stop. She continued to stimulate her spiritual energy to attack the man who was fighting with Wu Changyi. Even though the other person had called out a protective light screen, he still couldn't stop Mok Yom. He was very fast. Was killed. Blood immediately splattered on Wu Changyi's face. The rest of the group saw this and immediately turned around and ran away. Run quickly. We must quickly report this to the master. Mok Yom's aura also gradually stabilized. After a while she was back to normal, just a little too exhausted to breathe, like she was dying. Wu Changyi came over to ask, "Junior sister, you okay?" Woon Sowol went to the old man to check on his situation. After a while he breathed out. Fortunately he was only stabbed with one external injury. His internal organs were not damaged much, if possible. With proper treatment, he will be able to recover completely. He quickly carried him up to the 2 people behind him and shouted loudly, "Senior sister has been exposed as a celestial being, so he will definitely being chased more aggressively. We have to move quickly." Wu Changyi nodded in agreement. That's right, we have to quickly escape this maze. Switch scene to another side. The group after the doctor came back, he immediately went to report to the doctor Dewan Kwang Ky. After hearing this, he couldn't suppress his surprise. What is this? Are they heavenly people? The other person nodded. Surely that girl's eyes were white. Even the blood energy flying out from her body had strange patterns. It was definitely the celestial being that you were thinking about. The middle-aged man didn't say much more and immediately flew away. Heaven and earth? We absolutely cannot lose it." Very quickly he chased behind the Woon Sowol group. Sure enough, they were going this way. Quickly caught up with them and captured the heavenly people. Very quickly he chased in front of the group. Woon Sowol person. He stared at Mok Yom and said, "Hand that kid over to me." Mok Yom was still lying unconscious in Woo Changyi's chest. He couldn't help but look at the middle-aged man in front of him. Shocked, is that person a person with a cultivation base of up to the Yongguang period? Mok Yom also just woke up at this time. She looked at Woo Changyi and asked, "Senior brother, is the situation worse?" Woo Changyi's face was silent and he didn't answer. After a moment, he gritted his teeth and forced a smile. "It's okay, don't worry." As soon as the words left his mouth, a golden light pierced him. Over his head. He was like an object falling from a flying sword. The one who took action was that monk Duang Kwang Ky. "If you don't hand it over, I'll just have to take it away." Mok Yom was about to rush down to grab Woo Changyi's body but was caught by the magician. The old man next to him saw this and his face changed. "I have to stop him, I must stop him." He gritted his teeth and made some difficult decision. He quickly reached into his chest to search for something. "Mok Yom, my beloved daughter." Very quickly he took out an internal pill. "Because my daughter's potential is destroyed, or if the internal pill is broken, I don't care anymore. If this way can save my daughter, then of course everything was worth it." He quickly slowly flew up. Then he put that internal pill in his mouth and swallowed it. After swallowing that internal pill, his body immediately felt a powerful stream of spiritual energy burst out. Seeing this, Dr. Duang Kwang Ky snorted coldly. "With that level of cultivation, do you still want to stop me? Even if it were fate, it wouldn't be possible." Just as he said, all of the old man's attacks were easily blocked by him. Next, he waved his hand and threw several. The magical weapon in his hand was truly ridiculous. The old man raised his shield to block the opponent's attack, but as soon as he raised it, the shield could not stand it for long and immediately broke. The old gardener still did not give up and continued to rush madly. In his hand, a piece of tree suddenly condensed. The tree quickly grew longer and wrapped around Mok Yom. Fuang Fai Duang. When Kwang saw this, he immediately snapped his fingers and unleashed the divine fire of the third sister. Although the old garden master's tree branch was not an ordinary object, it still could not compete with the divine fire of the third sister. It quickly disappeared. Burned fiercely, the old master sighed in his heart. There was no way to extinguish this fire. I had to throw this stick away. After thinking about it, he immediately threw the stick away. He continued to rush towards Mok Yom, wanting to save her. Seeing his father frantically rush towards Mok Yom, screaming in fear, "No, no father." Woon Sowol is behind at this time, was also trying to follow him and rushed up. The old man rushed closer to his daughter before he could even touch her when he was hit through the head by a beam of spiritual energy. Watching his father die right before his eyes, Mok Yom his eyes immediately became red. At this time the sun was gradually appearing in the east. If night is the awakening time of magical beasts, then daylight is the time when spiritual beasts awaken. Mok Yom once again fell into a state of madness. The vines that were wrapping around her body quickly fell to pieces. She screamed frantically, "No, how could this happen?" Sensing the aura on Mok Yom's body, the Yang Luang Chi monk's heart also began to tense up. He had a psychic eye, and that was really dangerous. He quickly called out the light screen. Protective spiritual energy. But suddenly his eyes widened and he stood there dumbfounded. Countless images and familiar sounds continuously appeared in his mind, compared to Yukong Wiso. "Senior brother must be much better, the teacher is waiting and you are better than him, compared to Kong Wiso, Kong Wiso. You should try to be worthy of senior brother, Kong Wiso, you have completely lost your soul." After making the other person fall into a state of chaos, Mok Yom also fainted from exhaustion. Woon Sowol quickly rushed to hug her. "Are you okay, sister?" He glanced at the middle-aged man standing right inside the protective light curtain in the distance. His sister must have done something to him. "I have to take advantage of his loss and quickly escape from here." Dad. The next day at District Li, Ju Mansion. Woon Sowol ran all the way here with Mok Yom. As soon as he landed in the yard, he breathed out, I was just trying to come here, but I didn't expect it. That big brother still hasn't let anyone in here for the past 2 years. This is really lucky. I have to check the body condition of my senior sister first." He quickly hugged Mok Yom into the house later. That prompted spiritual energy to check her body. As soon as his spiritual energy entered her body, it was immediately reflected back. His face couldn't help but tense up. The spiritual energy in her body was still, the outbreak was still so intense. It must have been the medicine that helped preserve her spiritual energy first, then the medicine that helped her recover. At this moment Jang Bo poked his head in from the outside. Seeing the scene inside, he quietly turned his head and walked out, originally intending to go in and ask him how things were after many days of not seeing him, but it seemed he was busy. But at this moment Woon Sowol smiled and called him over. "Long time no see, Jang brother." Jang Bo excitedly turned around. "Little brother Woon Sowol, didn't expect you to be gone for so long. How much time has passed? Already?" Woon Sowol smiled and nodded. "It's been a long time. Has anything special happened to the Ju family lately?" Jang Bo excitedly explained, "Yes, the eldest young master passed the exam and became a doctor. The whole district held a very lively party to celebrate. It's a pity I'm not here. Other than that, the second lady has been making the district commander's heart feel sad lately." Woon Sowol was surprised. Did something happen to Miss Ju? Jang Bo explained that the district commander was busy negotiating a marriage for the young lady with a quite famous family. Even though she was past the age of consent, the young lady still kept saying that she was not thinking about marriage. This matter, it's really giving the old man a headache. Woon Sowol suddenly woke up. "So that's how things happened." Jang Bo turned around and ran out. "No more talking to you. I have to quickly go and tell you. The young lady just heard that I was back." Woon Sowol then went to cook medicine for Mok Yom to drink. He kept sighing in his heart. Her body was still a bit weak. Dealing with two, the guy looks like an amazing guy. Even facing off against a miracle warrior like Duan Kwang, but still has the strength. This is considered amazing. While taking care of Mok Yom, he suddenly looked out in doubt. Seeing someone coming, he excitedly exclaimed, "Is it Miss Ju?" Ju Garyong didn't say anything and looked at him with a smile. Woon Sowol continued to ask, "Have you been okay lately?" Ju Garyong replied sadly, "Let's see, it's okay but it's not very okay. The family's position has been enhanced but I still seem the same." Woon Sowol asked doubtfully, "Because of the soul talk? May I ask why you don't want to get married?" Ju Garyong smiled, "For a young lady that is a difficult question. Please forgive me for not being able to answer you." Woon Sowol's face was full of helplessness. "After a while I'll change the subject later. I wonder if we can stay here for a while?" Ju Garyong smiled extremely happily. "Woon Sowol sir, why have I left this study room empty until now?" Woon Sowol reminded with a serious face, "There is one thing you need to know, young lady. I am currently being chased by people. The wizards are actively searching for me all over Yangzhou. And there is also my senior sister who is looking for me. Injured." Ju Garyong nodded. "I understand. The healers wouldn't dare ransack the homes of mortals. But about your sister, is she seriously injured?" Woon Sowol explained sadly. "Sister has lost her father and the whole person dares to do anything for her more than anyone else. The wound on the body is big, but the wound in the heart, it's not small." Ju Garyong pushed the door and walked next to the bed. She looked at the unconscious woman on the bed and smiled. Truly a beautiful lady, if she were a senior sister of Woon Sowol, then it doesn't matter how long you want to stay. Woon Sowol nodded gratefully. "Thank you, Miss Ju." He silently made a decision in his heart, but he couldn't. "If we can't stay here for long, the Dauntless Association will probably continue to haunt us. We might bring disaster to the Ju family. Sister, please get well as soon as possible. We will leave here as soon as possible." Peaceful time continued to pass like that. One beautiful morning Mok Yom finally woke up. Woon Sowol with Ju Garyong as usual followed the things to take care of her. As soon as he opened the door and saw Mok Yom lying there with his eyes open, he was so excited he wanted to scream. But before the words left his mouth, he drooped. "I didn't know what to say." Both. The two quickly walked to the bedside. Ju Garyong washed the towel and wanted to help her wipe her face. "She's finally awake. It's been 3 days since I met her." But Mok Yom was like a vegetable lying there. Other than opening his eyes and staring at the ceiling, there was no other movement. Ju Garyong continued to confide, "Miss Mok, the weather outside is beautiful. On a beautiful day like this, the son of a servant broke a water jar. My younger brother Ju Hyundo is no less. Not long ago he opened a trade with his unruly friends, but now he has abandoned it in the middle. How long will it take for him to become as famous as my brother? Oh, do you like snacks? Yesterday I heard that it was a specialty of another country, so I bought it as a snack. Just come here today, I'll come again tomorrow." From that day on, not a day goes by that Ju Garyong doesn't come sitting alone telling stories for half a day before leaving. All of them were simple, not very interesting stories. Just like that, Mok Yom had been awake for 8 days. On the 8th day Mok Yom began to nod. First responded to Ju Garyong's story. Since that day, Mok Yom had recovered more clearly and occasionally opened her mouth to talk. One day she suddenly asked Woon Sowol, the junior brother from yesterday, "It's a cool breeze today, right?" Woon Sowol smiled and nodded, "That's right." After a while, Woon Sowol left her place. As he walked, he thought to himself, 4 days have passed since that day. Although his expression was still a bit sad, fortunately his sister was almost gone. Back to the way it was before. When sister recovers completely, I should slowly leave here. Before leaving, I took a look at the hands of Madam Sun and the children in the Ju family, including Jang Bo brother and Lee Hyong too, but no one has a fairy bone. Even Miss Ju is the same. Unfortunately even Miss Ju doesn't have a fairy bone. I thought if she had a fairy bone then I would teach her qigong and give her a few medicinal pills, but things are impermanent and not what people want. Ju Garyong knew Woon Sowol's good intentions and smiled, if only she could become a healer. No matter what, I will still live as I do now. I love my family and my family very much, so I can't shake that feeling and disappear. I probably won't be able to specialize. I lost my mind to practice. Woon Sowol sighed and advised, Miss Ju should find her own life. Ju Garyong smiled without answering. After a while she asked again. Mr. Sowol, see if we have immortal bones or not. Is it because you will leave here and never come back? Woon Sowol doesn't hide it, that's true. Ju Garyong smiled, after all, what we should do a few years ago. I know I can't keep you here, I don't know do nothing but regret. Woon Sowol sighed, I also feel very regretful. Ju Garyong led Woon Sowol to a nearby room, that's lucky. Woon Sowol looked inside full of doubts, isn't this Miss Ju's treasure chest? Ju Garyong nodded. I heard that the wizard often has a magical bag. There is no need to have a large treasure like this, but there is still, can it hold a lot of things inside? Woon Sowol nodded, that's right. Ju Garyong smiled, if that's the case then please take all the long robes over there and put them in that bag. I thought the gods would be quiet living in the mountains, or flying in the sky in a cool way, but I didn't expect young Master Woon Sowol to have to go through so many dangerous things, and his clothes are often ruined because of that. Woon Sowol shyly scratched his face. Ha ha, is that so? He also unceremoniously quickly collected all the long robes. At this moment, he suddenly remembered something. He took out a cloth bag and gave it to her. There were a few things in there. Medicine pills, if you take one pill, you will be able to increase your lifespan a little, and you will not get sick. Taking 2 or 3 pills won't be any more effective, so you just need to take it. 1 pill is enough. Please give 1 pill each to Jang Bo and Lee Hyong. The rest is up to you to use whatever you want. Ju Garyong took the pill and sighed. The pill was as precious as hay. If I accept it from you, you will feel a lot of pressure. Woon Sowol scratched his head and smiled. No, the healer drinking this stuff won't have much effect. If I don't give it to you, I won't know. To whom now? Ju Garyong woke up. It turns out that's the case. So Woon Sowol master, please take care. After Jang Bo heard that Woon Sowol wanted to leave, he cried loudly, Woon Sowol master, are you really going? Giving gold, silver and jewels is fine, but why do you have to go to such a faraway country? Woon Sowol crossed his arms in front of his chest and smiled. Just now someone received gold, silver and jewels and grinned. Jang Bo hesitated. Anyone can be like that, you're really. Woon Sowol laughed. Jang brother was sad when you left like that, so I probably couldn't help but take this out. Jang Bo looked suspiciously at the jars of wine in front of him. What is this wine? Woon Sowol explained, this is a wine reserved for physicians called nectarine wine. It is made from spiritual herbs. Drinking it not only does not harm your health, on the contrary it also helps enhance your luck. Jang Bo immediately took out a bowl to start drinking. I didn't expect that I, Jang Bo, could also drink such precious wine. Look at this, Woon Sowol, I'll just drink one glass and then you take it away, this one bowl. For me, it's a day full of green dreams, you know? After saying goodbye to everyone, until it got dark, the two of Woon Sowol quietly went out to the yard. Mok Yom looked at the sky and said, "Let's go quickly, junior brother." Woon Sowol nodded sadly, "Yes, senior sister." Seeing him keep glancing behind sadly, Mok Yom immediately asked, "Is there anything else going on?" Woon Sowol shook his head, "It's nothing, just a little regretful." Woon Sowol looked at Ju family's palace and secretly sighed, "The relationship with District Lee has been resolved. But why do I keep feel regretful? But my sister and I must disappear from this Yangzhou." After a while he sighed, "Sister, let's go to Dewan Nation." Scene changed to Yueyang Province, Dewan Nation, and Nam Set. Woon Sowol and Mok Yom have just used the teleportation formation to come here. She looked at the scene ahead suspiciously and asked, "Is this the Dewan Nation?" Woon Sowol replied uncertainly, "It seems like that. For now, let's go somewhere where people live and ask. Let's see if the people in Dewan are any different from us." Mok Yom nodded. "Okay, let's do that." The two people then quickly flew out of the forest with their swords. They quickly reached a nearby stronghold. Woon Sowol observed the situation. What is said below. The big door is for the wise man, the small door is for mortals. I've never seen a scene like this in Jeonnyeong Nation. Sister is not healthy so she can't pretend to be a mortal. I guess I'll have to use hidden body techniques. As soon as the two reached the city gate, they were immediately attacked. The soldiers on guard stopped. Woon Sowol asked suspiciously, "What's going on?" The soldier quickly said that if he wanted to enter the guild hall, he had to pay a pass fee of 10 low-level spirit stones. Suddenly, his face turned red and he immediately stood there. He was immediately embarrassed. Mok Yom's charming, heart-touching charm. After a while he woke up and coughed, ahem. The two of them cost 20 low-grade spirit stones. Woon Sowol took out the spirit stone and gave it to him. I couldn't help but feel the pain in my heart. A low-level magic weapon could only be exchanged for 40 low-level spirit stones. It was really expensive to use as a travel fee, but it had to be that way. What should I do? After all, I didn't know what to do. There is a shortage of spirit stones. The soldiers received enough spirit stones and immediately took out 2 command tokens and gave them to them. Remember to keep them carefully. If you lose them and are discovered by a patrol, you will be considered an infiltrator. Illegal and confiscated 10 more mid-level spirit stones. The two of Woon Sowol quickly received the orders and then entered the city. We understood and thanked this big brother. Just entering the city, the eyes of the two of them couldn't help but widen. Inside is truly a world for magicians. Everywhere you can see magicians flying in the air. Is this the Dewan Nation? Very quickly, there was a monk in front who was blown back by the whirlwind. Woon Sowol rushed up from behind and couldn't help but be startled when he saw this. The wind was so strong, the monk Thien Tai Ky couldn't even get to the entrance. Murder, if that's the case, then. He quickly shouted towards Mok Yom. His sister quickly rushed inside in one breath. At this moment, a loud shout rang out from behind, "If you don't want to die, quickly avoid it." Raw, Woon Sowol heard that and turned around in surprise to look back. There was an air-braking horse carriage coming from behind. The whirlwind here had absolutely no way to stop it at all. The surrounding people, when they saw this carriage, they exclaimed in horror, "It is the Mountain Willow Manor. It is the windmill carriage of the Mountain Willow Manor. Damn, the Mountain Willow Manor is also coming. See, I can't enter the lake this year." Woon Sowol saw the group of people so tense. His heart was full of doubts. This family seems to be very famous. The Mafu alone is so strong. There can control the 4 red heavenly winged dragons. I don't know which god is sitting inside. Mok Yom, who was next to him, also exclaimed in surprise, "That carriage doesn't seem to be afraid of hurricanes, right? Our junior brother should quickly go in." Woon Sowol nodded. "Well, let's go. Wish us luck, senior sister." He silently shook his head. "No matter who he is, this has nothing to do with it. To me." After a while, Woon Sowol successfully entered the rift, where the atmosphere was extremely gloomy and surrounded by fog. Woon Sowol thought as he walked. Unexpectedly he entered once inside the rift. We got lost. I heard that the groups entering the rift all got lost. It seems this rumor is true. This place is completely different from the Danlin land we don't know at all. Nothing. Luckily my sister and I had already made an appointment to meet at the central lake. This was truly a smart decision. Before entering, the two of them negotiated with each other. Mok Yom stroked his chin thoughtfully. I heard that the exit will open in 1 to 3 months. Woon Sowol nodded. So we better not act rashly. Collect spirit stones while moving to the central lake to meet there. Woon Sowol released Wanwan from the beast chest. The senior sister is so strong it should be fine. I should still collect information about the treasures related to the lake first. Recently there are only 2 ancient sages. Cannot pose a threat to us for the time being. Wanwan, let's go find out where the spiritual herbs are. Woon Sowol looked at Wanwan diligently sniffing the spiritual herbs secretly happily. After eating the needles, Wanwan was obedient much better. Hope it can bring me luck. Very quickly Wanwan found the first elixir tree. Next was the second tree. The third tree. Woon Sowol, just like that, under its guidance, he quickly found countless spiritual herbs. He looked at the pile of spiritual herbs in his hand with excitement. He did not expect that Wanwan's performance this time would be so outstanding. On the way to the center of the rift, it took only 2 hours to collect this many spiritual herbs and internal pills. Woon Sowol was standing there admiring Wanwan behind him, but suddenly ran away excitedly. Woon Sowol was surprised when he saw that. Wanwan became angry again. Spiritual herbs appear? Haven't all the spiritual herbs been picked up recently? After walking for a while, Wanwan stopped and excitedly ran around a pile of dirt. Woon Sowol quickly saw another spiritual medicine plant. Isn't this 9coc greed? The spiritual grass was so rare, yet it was so easy to find. Suddenly he felt a little suspicious and touched the ground. The ground seemed to be very damp. He quickly mobilized the spiritual energy. Next, he waved his hand and smashed the opposite ground. A cave immediately appeared inside. Woon Sowol looked at the water flowing from inside and was a bit surprised. Could this be a branch of the stream? Wanwan, let's go in and take a look. One person and one cat then quickly headed inside the cave. Very quickly they came to a cliff where the water flow inside the cave originated. Woon Sowol didn't say much and directly waved his hand to smash the cliff. Inside immediately revealed a lake. Woon Sowol observed for a moment, then exclaimed, "This is the source. The water outside seems to be from here, flows out. It looks like a lake. It's so deserted here. If you're lucky you might be able to find aquatic spiritual herbs or spiritual stones under the lake." Think for a moment and then took out the family beast capsule and told Wanwan to go in. As for himself, he immediately condensed a protective light screen with spiritual energy into the lake. After swimming for a while, he saw something. What is that green glowing thing? They seem to be moving very fast. Could they be green lightfish? I only know they are aquatic animals, the rest I don't know anything about. They are probably intermediate level demon beasts. I still need a little more time to observe. As soon as the group of green lightfish came closer, they suddenly moved the antennae on their heads to release demonic attack. Woon Sowol did not pay attention even though their attacks hit the protective spiritual energy light screen. It seemed that their group attacks were very strong, even though they did not pose a threat to their spiritual energy barrier. But I can't fight against such a large number of herds. More than 30 of them rushed in at once. It's very difficult to attack, but there's no reason to miss this many internal pills that reach your mouth. The spiritual energy consumption in water is actually much higher than on land. Luckily I used it. The needle pill caused the consumption of spiritual energy to decrease a lot. Soon Woon Sowol was surrounded by green lightfish. He had no intention of running away and immediately took out the magic weapon. The green lightfish continued to go crazy. Attack! The 4 surrounding Woon Sowol's light screen were immediately covered by their demonic force. After a while finally Woon Sowol was hit on the back by an attack from them. Although it was successful, attacked the enemy, but the green lightfish suddenly tensed up and shouted. Woon Sowol took out a magic weapon and smiled coldly. "I guess I've used up all my tricks. Your green light and fish lion can't hurt me." No harm. The green lightfish surrounding him were quickly beaten to death by the electronic lightning in that bead magic weapon. Woon Sowol smiled with satisfaction. If these green lightfish could not pose a threat, anything for me, then let's end the battle quickly. After dealing with everything, Woon Sowol began the process of collecting spoils. He kept reaching out to catch the green lightfish's body and threw it into the storage bag. His heart was filled with joy. This was considered a great harvest. While collecting enthusiastically, he was suddenly startled and suspiciously looked down. The green lightfish's body seemed to be suffering from something. That sucks. I can't see it anymore. Could it be the rift within the rift? In this other dimensional space, anything can happen. He quickly took out a broken sword and flew to take a look. The broken sword had just entered halfway. He immediately stimulated his spiritual energy. Pull it back. You can take the sword back, but after entering, you can't see anything anymore. The spiritual power sensor has not been cut off, proving that it is not a strange space inside. Source, but after the sword flew out, there was no difference. Looks like I need to go in and find out more. After thinking for a moment, he quickly walked towards the space hole. As soon as he entered, he saw the body of the green lightfish earlier being sucked in. He looked at the barren land in front of him in surprise. The rift was indeed unfathomable. The bottom of the lake was still hidden in plain sight. Independent space like this. Wanwan doesn't seem to react at all. Can't it smell the scent of spiritual herbs? So what is this space actually used for? How about going around and checking it out? This place only has mushrooms and moss, but I feel like there will definitely be spiritual herbs. After walking for a while, both he and Wanwan's mouths were wide open. Why does red moss grow here? Purple membrane emitting from black spores. Wait, could this be scarlet lichen? Woon Sowol quickly collected scarlet lichen. Although this type of spiritual herb is not as precious as the red-edged herb, because of its rather harsh growing environment, it is also one of the difficult to find spiritual herbs, if you discard all of them. Put this scarlet lichen in your back pocket and you won't have to worry about the ingredients to make the chrysanthemum pill. Coming to the rift is really the right place. Suddenly his face darkened and he was extremely stressed. All the magic tools were immediately taken out. There was someone nearby. After a while, he saw an old man with a thick beard and hair behind a cliff. Did it look like he was eating scarlet lichen? I can't sense his cultivation level. What kind of person is he? The old man completely did not notice that Woon Sowol was watching from behind. He just sat there frantically picking up scarlet lichen to eat. From his appearance, this seemed to be his favorite dish. Woon Sowol was secretly thinking about whether he should just sneak away, but his actions made me so curious. Guang-o Taoist said that he had been in the spiritual land for decades. This person seems to have been here for a long time, at least 30 years, right? Come a little closer to see what happens. As soon as Woon Sowol moved to get closer to the old man, he was startled. He immediately stopped eating and turned around. Woon Sowol saw that he had discovered her and his face changed. Wrinkled in tension. The old man stared at him in extreme surprise but still didn't speak. Woon Sowol saw his appearance and whispered, "He looked so pitiful, boy." Immediately asked the old man, "Is your old man okay?" The old man stared at him for a moment, then turned away again without paying attention. Woon Sowol saw that he did not pay attention to him and continued to focus on eating scarlet lichen. He slowly moved closer. What exactly did he go through? Why did it turn out to be so miserable? This place is so mysterious. Why does he live here? Do I really want to clarify this? Thinking of this, he immediately raised his hand and wanted to touch the old man. His face was not very good. "Let me help you take a look." But unexpectedly, the old man just saw him reaching out his hand to touch him. He was extremely agitated. He immediately stood up and screamed frantically. When he saw that, he stepped back and tried to explain, "Old man, don't be nervous. I don't mean anything malicious. Even though your problem is not serious, if not handled promptly, it will be very painful." The old man didn't pay attention and quickly hid in a corner, shivering. Woon Sowol sighed. He didn't understand me. Say what? He feels like a wounded animal. His spirit seems to have suffered a huge blow. I'm not sure, but I guess his cultivation level is probably at least 1,000 times over. Strange, also considered powerful, but why did he fall into this path? Thinking idly for a moment, he took out a box of medicine and wanted to apply it to the old man. The old man can rest assured that this is not a magic weapon but medicine. But the old man completely did not care. He stood up again, constantly looking left and right and screaming. After a while, he sat down again, holding his head and huddled together. Woon Sowol sighed. He looked very scared. He had no choice but to treat the few wounds he could foresaw. After thinking about it, he went closer and applied the medicine to his body. The arm was done, now it was the body. The old man whose body he applied the medicine to now had a little relaxed and not as guarded as before. Woon Sowol advice, the old man who made this medicine will help relieve your pain. Let me handle it for you. I swear I will absolutely not harm you. The old man looked thoughtfully at the wound on his hand. Woon Sowol saw that he was no longer trembling and shivering like before, so he exhaled. The old man then completely relaxed and let Woon Sowol help him heal his wound. Time passed very quickly and a few more days passed. Woon Sowol was still in the cave with the old man. He watched him eat scarlet lichen in doubt. 4 days had passed. Even the jade Lo Chin Tam Hoang also gave it to him, but I don't see him getting any better. Do I really need to waste my time here? The old man was eating enthusiastically but suddenly turned his head to look at him. Woon Sowol saw his appearance and sighed, but looking at his expression of despair and pain, I really couldn't bear it. While he was absent-minded, the old man had a fit again. Seeing him constantly screaming Woon Sowol, he stood up. What happened to the old man? Woon Sowol's surprised eyes. The old man spoke for the first time. He shouted at him, absolutely don't open the mirror made of stone. Absolutely don't open the mirror made of stone. Woon Sowol doubted what kind of stone is the mirror made of? What are you talking about? The old man rushed forward even more excitedly and ran in front of him. Inside that stone mirror was hiding the devil. I came here to hide from the devil. Woon Sowol surprised. Devil? Are you saying the devil chased you here? What is the devil and where is that stone mirror? Looking at the old man constantly looking left and right, Woon Sowol silently groaned in his heart. He seemed very scared. Was he worried that there were ghosts around? Dewan Nation is different from Jeonnyeong Nation. Dewan Nation is a country with strongly developed martial arts and Taoism. Mortals here know the existence of magicians. It is a common practice for rich parents to spend money to see if your child has immortal bones or not, or for ordinary people without immortal bones to practice martial arts to exchange bones to take over the fetus because they dream of becoming an immortal, or all very common things. Mok Yom, after a moment of fear, he calmed down and exclaimed, "The atmosphere here is quite different from Jeonnyeong Nation, isn't it?" Woon Sowol nodded. He didn't expect that wizards and mortals could live in such harmony with each other. This is truly special. Is there a wizard's emperor here who is the same as a mortal's emperor? Mok Yom explained, I vaguely heard that there is no king of the Almighty here, only the city lord. I heard that the Almighty of the city can arbitrarily give orders to the officials of mortals. As for other information, let's listen to the doctors talking here. Woon Sowol nodded. Good insight. Suddenly he was startled and waved towards the second child. Hey Tunhi, come here for a moment. Tunhi quickly ran over cheerfully. Sir, do you need something? Woon Sowol felt the aura on the teenager's body and was surprised. At such a young age, he was already at the alchemy stage. It turned out to be a boy with internal elixir. He took out a spirit stone and gave it to him. For Tunhi, I have some curiosity. Where is the biggest market here? When Tunhi received the spirit stone, his eyes immediately lit up. He quickly told everything he knew. The place to buy and sell many things was on Huyen-Vu Avenue at the North Gate, and there was also a trade association. The translation of valuable objects is on Vermilion Avenue at the South Gate. There is especially the 10,000 Beasts Chamber of Commerce, there's nothing more. Seeing you say this, I suddenly stopped. Woon Sowol, his face was full of doubts. What else? Tunhi spoke softly. Actually, sometimes there are secret trading guilds open to buy and sell precious objects. It is said that only those who are invited can go there. Woon Sowol he smiled and thought, the 10,000 Beasts Chamber of Commerce and the Secret Trading Society? Next, he immediately told Tunhi, thank you, you can go. Tunhi excitedly took the spirit stone and turned to leave. Woon Sowol asked Mok Yom, I'm planning to try the place called Thuong. Take a look at that group of 10,000 beasts, do you want to come with me? Mok Yom shook his head. I still haven't checked all the capsules I captured from the Dauntless Association wizards. I'll probably stay in the room to check on them. Un Sowol silently pondered in his heart. There was only one thing left. There was no way she hadn't checked on the 2 capsules until now. It seemed like the wound caused by the master's departure was still present in her heart. Thinking for a moment, he smiled. Advise, then I will go alone and will be back soon. You just stay here and check slowly. Mok Yom nodded. I know, Un Sowol silently thought in his heart, you are a lifesaver. I must try my best to heal this wound in my heart. Un Sowol then disguised himself as Wang Tae-il and went to the 10,000 Beasts Chamber of Commerce. As soon as he entered, he was startled. I'm surprised, this is like a palace for mortals, isn't it? It can't be compared to the merchant guild of the same name in Choksan district. This time, if I want to make a big deal, I have to disguise and hide my cultivation to ensure everything is as safe as possible. Very fast inside, a manager came out to ask, what are you looking for? Un Sowol was startled and replied, I came here to buy spiritual herbs. The manager quickly invited him to sit at the next table. You have come to the right place. Please sit down and have a glass of iced tea first. As soon as Sowol sat down, he immediately asked, 4 kinds of ginseng, dharma landscape grass, stage gold grass and udambara flower. Are there these 4 types of spiritual herbs here? The manager was excited. These are all expensive spiritual herbs that are not easy to find. However, fortunately, our guild has 4 desires: ginseng, fap landscape grass, and golden grass. Un Sowol claw. I stroked my beard with excitement. I thought that if I could find just one type, I would be very lucky. This would be truly wonderful, but without udambara flower, it would be a shame. Think about it for a moment. After a while, he asked for the price. The treasurer immediately took out a piece of paper. I've written it all down. Un Sowol didn't say much and immediately took out a bag of spirit stones and placed them on the table. The store manager was stunned for a moment, then shouted loudly from behind, quickly bring a cup of iced tea with lots of ice and some tea to entertain the distinguished guests. Please wait a moment, we will bring you the spirit herbs. I want to buy it right away. Soon a bag of spiritual herbs was brought out by them. Un Sowol nodded with satisfaction. It was exactly the kind of spiritual herbs I needed. The fund manager respectfully bowed his head. Thank you for your support. Next time you come to the merchant guild, please find me. I will take you to the luxurious room on the upper floor. Un Sowol nodded and stood up to leave. As soon as he stood up, the treasurer hesitantly spoke up, but this gentleman, he turned his head to look at him suspiciously. The treasurer quickly explained, if you were planning to go to another merchant guild to buy udambara flower, you will probably have to make a trip. You are very lucky to be able to find 3 types of spiritual herbs at our merchant guild. Un Sowol glanced at him suspiciously. It seemed like he was there as a reason why he told me that. The treasurer explained, in this guild there is only one place where you can find and buy udambara flowers, which is in the secret trading guild. Un Sowol immediately heard that. I was surprised. I heard that you had to be invited to that place to be able to go. The store manager nodded, of course, but if you have more than 1,000 middle-grade spirit stones, you will get an invitation ticket. When Un Sowol heard that, his face immediately sank. 1,000 middle-grade spirit stones. The assets stolen from Wang Tae-il were countless. 1,000 pills was not worth anything, but I felt very suspicious of him. The other teacher kept looking at me thoughtfully and turned around to explain, I just want to help you a little to maintain a good long-term relationship. I absolutely do not expect you to return anything. I will let you know the time and place. If you have any intention, please let me know. Try going there once, if not then just pretend I didn't say anything. Very quickly another 5 days passed. Un Sowol was now leaning against a wall on the street waiting for something. I had sold out unnecessary items and collected as many spirit stones as possible. Now all I need to do is buy udambara flowers at the trading guild. Very quickly, a masked woman came out of the alley. Young master, thank you very much for coming to the transaction meeting. Please wear this mask and follow me. I will tell you the rules of the trading guild as I go. First, if the sale is successful, you will pay us some of the costs, but if the transaction is not successful, you do not need to pay anything. All sales are conducted by auction. The methods will gather and there will be an opportunity to trade. If, in addition to the spirit stone, you have other items, you can auction them off with other wizards. Very soon Woon Sowol was quoted arriving in front of a basement. The woman made a sign inviting him to come in. If there are no more questions, then I wish you a smooth transaction. Woon Sowol went inside and found a large table to sit down. He raised the glass of wine to take a look and silently evaluate. It looks special, doesn't it? Food cooked over fire? Is there a magician coming here? In Yangzhou, the entire power structure was completely changed just because of a Yangguangqi magician, but as soon as I arrived at a trading guild in Dewan nation to do a transaction, there was a Yangguangqi magician participating. Clearly the difference in the level of cultivation of the two countries' monks is very large. Very soon someone stood up and shouted loudly on the stage, "If everyone is already gathered here, then I would like to start the trading session now." Very quickly, someone brought out a ring. The thing I want to sell is a primary magic weapon called Tan Ban Hone. It has the effect of speeding up the speed. Restore spiritual energy. If anyone has any magic weapon worth exchanging for it, I will consider and trade with that person. If not, I will start the auction from 10 high-grade spiritual stones. Woon Sowol and I can't help but feel scared. I've just started and I'm already auctioning off the magic weapon? Compared to magic weapons have a much higher level. I heard that my cloud iron ring is also a magic weapon, but the master said that cultivating under the sunlight period still doesn't have enough spiritual power. If I can move it, if that thing can help me restore my spiritual energy, that would be great. I really want to have it, but I still have to use the famous spirit stone to buy Udambara flower first. After one leaf of Tan Mai Hone was sold for 17 high-grade spirit stones. The next item is a spirit tree that absorbs the fortune of a 1,000-year-old spirit grass rarely seen in the world. The following items are monster eggs, respectively. The medicinal pill is effective in helping the heroic monk increase his spiritual power. The medicinal pill is made from the internal medicine of high-class demon beasts. Woon Sowol also took out a jade bottle to auction. What I brought here is essential oil of the cyclamen. The cyclamen often emits a scent that magical beasts absolutely hate. This essential oil is extremely concentrated from the scent of the cyclamen. With just one drop there can prevent demonic beasts from getting too close. If you are in danger from being chased by demonic beasts, this orchid essential oil can be your lifeline. I don't need spirit stones, I want to change the bottle of essential oil. Take Udambara flower. When the people below saw this, they all remained silent and thoughtful. A person on the stage spoke up, and we know that there are also Yangguangqi magicians in attendance. Even if we are hesitant about it, this is indeed a very special item. Pricing it is very difficult. To be honest, of course there will be a wizard who can hunt magical beasts. Surely some wizard here has also encountered magical beasts. If only there was a wizard with a higher level of cultivation here. Surely he will be able to understand the true value of this item. Seeing that no one spoke up to exchange Udambara flowers, Woon Sowol couldn't help but curse in his heart. Damn, accidentally selling the essential oil of the turtle. Now that I have the orchid, I have to exchange it with something else I've been thinking about. At this moment, someone took out Udambara flower and shouted loudly, "That orchid essential oil, if this is it, surely I will exchange what you want with you." When Woon Sowol saw the Udambara flower in his hand, he couldn't contain his happiness. Luckily, he almost couldn't find the Udambara flower he wanted. He excitedly said to the other person, "Then let's." But before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by the other person. "However, I have one condition." Woon Sowol's face sank, saying, "Sue?" The other person smiled and explained, "I have something to ask about that. How will we discuss it after chatting outside?" Woon Sowol's thoughts quickly turned around in his head. If he transacted outside, wouldn't his identity be exposed? Even though I don't want to do that at all, I can't let go of Udambara flowers like that. Thinking for a moment, he then asked the rest of the group, wondering if there was anyone else here who wanted to exchange Udambara flowers. "Can I get the essence of Phalaenopsis orchids?" For a long time, no one spoke up. Woon Sowol couldn't help but feel angry. Damn, is there no one else besides that guy? The other person laughed again and said, "It's decided, when the guild transaction is over, come to the Bao Din guest house to find me." Soon the guild transaction ended. Woon Sowol went to the guest house as promised. Bao Din looked for that person. He looked at the person in front of him suspiciously and asked, "Why did he purposely want to meet at the hotel?" The young man calmly replied, "I have something to ask." Woon Sowol's thoughts quickly turned around. He looked so normal, but when he did, what he said really made people feel pressured. But could it be that his realm is at the middle stage? After thinking for a moment, he asked, "What is that?" The young man quickly explained that almost no one knew about Kai Lan Thou, let alone had ever heard of essential oils containing the scent of Kai Lan Thou. How do people get this? Woon Sowol coldly asked again, "Do you need to know that too?" The young man smiled and waved his hand. "If it's too difficult and doesn't want to say anything, it's okay, then let's do business." When Woon Sowol saw his movements, his face immediately became extremely cautious. Just like that, he thought this guy didn't have any good intentions. What he took out was not an Udambara flower but a magic weapon. Woon Sowol was always on guard. As soon as the opponent made a move, he immediately moved away. Clone evasion technique. Inside the hotel, an extremely powerful explosion immediately erupted. Woon Sowol had no intention of fighting the opponent. The clone quickly scattered in all four directions and fled. The young man ran out of the inn in surprise. Looking at it, he was probably only in the state of cultivation, but he was able to block his sudden attack? Well, if I attacked with all my might, I would be able to find his true form, but if I was too aggressive and ordered by City Lord Wei Duong to hunt him down, it would be troublesome. After all, I still remember his face clearly. There he is. The next time we meet again, I will definitely deal with him. A moment later, Woon Sowol returned to the tea shop where he was stopping. It was really unexpected. Luckily I used translation magic, otherwise it would have been a big problem. In the end, where did it start to go wrong? Could it be that he conspired with that old man to steal my capsule? No, if there had been an accomplice, he probably wouldn't have thrown a knife at me alone. There's really a lack of clues. I'm also so stupid. Why did I accept the transaction offer at outside of him? But if I want to get the Udambara flower, I have to do the same. It's obvious that that guy has the Udambara flower, so I have to find a way to snatch it from his hands. I'm lost. Thinking, he suddenly sat up and looked out the door. Was it already morning? Come in. Tunhi quickly came in with tea and cakes. Did you sleep well? I brought some spirit tea and breakfast. Woon Sowol nodded. Are you there? Thanks to being here, I rested very comfortably, and you came at the right time. Tunhi is doubtful that you want to ask me something? From childhood to adulthood, I've only been wandering around here. I don't know much. Woon Sowol didn't say much and immediately took out a spirit stone. Tunhi saw the spirit stone and his eyes immediately lit up. I'm alive. I've been living in this communal house since I was born. I've never been out of the city. Woon Sowol nodded. So you probably know quite a bit about the news here, right? Have you ever heard of any robber killing a monk who temporarily stopped at a guest house or tea shop in a remote place and then robbing them of their food? He killed the opponent in an instant with just a dagger or a short sword. Tunhi heard that and his face immediately turned pale. He bowed his head hesitantly. That's it. That. Woon Sowol asked agitatedly, it turns out you know? It's okay, just say his name, the clothes he usually wears and the area he operates in or anything that captures his characteristics. Tunhi too explained, that robber is called faceless murderer. I heard that because he had a very high cultivation level and he was mistaken for a healer from another place. The elders who were the healers of the Taoist temple just pretended not to know and had no intention of doing so. Arrest him. Woon Sowol was startled after hearing that. I didn't expect that he even had his own nickname. It seemed like everyone knew him, but even so, it was in a secret trading society. Damn it, so I was in a rush, that's why I fell into his trap. This is truly unacceptable. Thinking for a moment, he asked Tunhi again, do you know anything else? Tunhi shook his head, I don't know him very well. If you have any questions, you should go ask Bao Xin sect. Woon Sowol doubts, what is Bao Xin sect? Tunhi explained, I heard that they know all the information, but I also heard people complain that they require a lot of real links when selling news. After talking with Tunhi, Woon Sowol immediately disguised himself and went to Bao Xin sect. When he got there, he couldn't help but be surprised. He said it was an information organization, so he thought they were operating in the dark. It turned out that they were doing business openly. It was unexpected. My guess is, Looking at it from another direction, this is probably a large-scale and very prestigious place. It's worth hoping to get quality information here. Standing outside for a moment, he then slowly walked in. I came to buy information. Inside, an old lady immediately came out to greet me. What information do you want to buy? Woon Sowol got straight to the point. News about faceless murderer. The old woman made an invitation sign. I will take you inside. After walking for a while, Woon Sowol couldn't help but be surprised. He was already gone after going through 3 doors. What's so secret inside? Moreover, I can't emit aura to probe. It seems like there is some kind of magic array set up here. Walking to the door of the old woman's room, she stopped and said, inside, the deputy master has a guest. There was an immediate response from inside, take him inside. Woon Sowol then okay. Please come inside. As soon as you entered, your eyes widened in fear. Because looking in the mirror in the room, your true appearance appeared. In the room sat a woman. Seeing Woon Sowol just standing there blankly, she immediately smiled and invited him to sit down. Woon Sowol observed her appearance and silently analyzed. Her hair is green. It seems like she has practiced a special set of qigong. Waiting for Woon Sowol to sit down, the woman immediately introduced herself. I am Xiao Bing, deputy chairperson of Bao Xin sect in this hall. Woon Sowol nodded. You can just call me Woon Mo. Okay. In his heart right now he was extremely wary. What was that scent that made his senses drift throughout the room? Luckily, I used ice magic so it wasn't affected. The woman nodded. So it's Mr. Woon. Do you want to know information about the faceless murderer? Woon Sowol replied immediately, yes. The woman picked up a book and flipped through it while talking. Then please tell me specifically the information you want to know. I will quote the price for that information. Sir, I don't accept valuable objects. I only accept spiritual stones, so I hope you understand. Woon Sowol asked. What I want to know is very simple. If I heard that that guy was killed, would anyone stand up and defend him? If so, who is that person and what level of cultivation is there? The woman immediately offered the price of 5 high-grade spirit stones. Woon Sowol listened and without hesitation took out the spirit stone and placed it on the table. The woman immediately answered after receiving the spirit stone. Case, no one will report the faceless murderer. He is alone without a teacher, without family, without friends, working alone until now. Woon Sowol asked again. I also very curious about his life. The woman actually sold 5 high-grade spirit stones. Woon Sowol silently cursed in her heart. Damn it. It's true that it consumes a lot of spirit stones as rumored. After getting the spirit stones, the woman continued to explain that the faceless murderer officially became known after he broke through to the heroic stage, more than 100 years ago. Before, there was a certain family that left behind a huge treasure and then a riot broke out. At that time, the faceless murderer killed many witches. Since then he went around a few cities to attack, killing the monks and stealing their capsules. The same thing happened over and over until now. He is still a very careful person, only harming knights whose cultivation level is a few levels lower than him. He also chose people with no family background. He killed people very decisively. That's why he was able to survive until now, and he came to this guild 3 years ago. Woon Sowol woke up after hearing this. I'm a romantic knight, and at that time I had hidden my cultivation into the sky state, so he saw me as prey and targeted. The woman continued to explain from the moment he arrived at the guild hall. His actions also became more hasty. It could be said that he was no longer as cautious as before, as if he was in dire need of spirit stones. Woon Sowol asked again, when killing someone, what actions does he usually take? The woman smiled. That's quite important information, but out of respect for the transaction between the two of us just now, so I only took 10 high-grade spirit stones. Woon Sowol sighed, right according to rumors. The woman who received the spirit stone once again revealed the information that he specializes in taking the enemy's life with a dagger, or nothing special, or with that person's own weapon. Because he didn't want to leave any trace of himself. Saw Woon Sowol finished asking and stood up to leave. Xiao Bing immediately invited him. If you want to know more information about faceless murderer, then come again please sect again. Woon Sowol glanced at her. If someone came to ask who the faceless murderer was, what would you do? The woman replied calmly, Bao Bei sect is an organization that buys and sells information. If someone returns the spirit stone, of course we have to sell the information to them. Woon Sowol laughed coldly. If it was a faceless murderer came to ask if the prey he had targeted had his back. As long as he returns the spirit stone, she will probably be happy to let him know, right? The girl smiled and did not answer. Woon Sowol, after getting the news from the bag asking for sect, the following days were all focused on it. Took nearly half a month to buy the necessary items, to find the spiritual herbs I needed. The smelting furnace could hold the samadhi essence fire and the pot of red jade. But it took 100 spirit stones to sell. This is right. Is it any different from robbery?